Hello guys, welcome back. So today we'll be trying to recreate this sketch that I made a little while back. Um, yeah, so I don't know what it's supposed to look like. I think it looks good, but I don't know what it is exactly um, supposed to resemble. Maybe some mountains, maybe, I don't know. In any case, let me go to the whiteboard and explain to you what exactly it is. So, to start with, we need our canvas, right? So we will have multiple lines going across, right? So this is the start of the sketch. We need to first get lines separated by some distance um, from the left side to the right side of the canvas. That's the first step. After this, we need to update. So we need to draw these lines, but not as from this point, let's say, to this point, right? We need to draw these lines as using like Deegan shape, right? As a continuous um, line of points, right? So it's line, multiple line segments, right? So multiple line segments going across separate, and each of them have like position between them, right? So we first need to get, let's do one line across, and then let's do multiple of them using that. Awesome. Because what we will want to do afterwards is we're going to use the noise function. Let me just make sure you can see. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to use the noise function, passing some value, it doesn't matter, into here as we go through each of the points in the line, right? So the noise value, the V here will change based on where we are at in the line. Also, noise, let me just explain real quick what it is compared to why use random in this case. Why use noise instead of random, right? So, um, let's say I wanted uh, um, a random point, um, a random value between, let's say, 0 and 100, right? Then I can just get any value at any point in time, right? Maybe one time I call it, I get 10, maybe the other time I get 90, right? And let's say I call them with no delay in between, right? I would get this, like it says, right? Random values. With noise, what's different is that it's going to try to get values that are more close to each other, right? So it's a smooth curve of noise, right? So it is going to be random, but it's going to be smooth, right? So it's smooth randomness. So maybe one time I call, I get 10, and maybe the other, and then afterwards I get, I don't know, maybe 8, right? Which is close to 10. It's not going to be necessarily that, but that's the idea. All right, so yeah, so we'll be adding onto each of those points, let's say a given noise value. So for the y-axis, right? So maybe this point gets pulled up here, this one gets pulled up here, this one here, right? So we can see, right, some kind of mountains or whatever you want to call it, right? And we'll do that for all of them. So that's pretty much the whole sketch. So let's get into it. All right. So let's do void setup and void draw. I don't think we'll be using draw necessarily, but I'll just add it in here. And let's do a size this time. I don't need the full width. I mean, yeah, I definitely don't need it, but okay, let's do like maybe 800 by 800. Awesome. Let's just see if the canvas is showing up. Okay, that's great. let's do a grayish background, like a dark gray. I cannot type today. Background, say 33, should be good. Yeah, that's fine, that's dark enough. Okay, so let's first draw our first line, right? So let's do it from the middle of the canvas. It doesn't matter from where, but let's do it from the middle of the canvas, right? So, okay, so let's do, and we'll do what we said here for the first line. Like we'll do it for one line, and then we'll just have to duplicate that for the other lines. So let's do it one time to get it right, and then afterwards we can do it how much time we want to make it, right? So okay, so let's just first draw the line. So we said we don't want to draw a line from point A to point B, but passing through multiple points. So let's do begin shape and end shape. And let's do no fill as well. We just want the stroke to be showing, right? We just want a line. And let's do a stroke of white. Awesome. Okay. So now, how much points do we want in our line? Let's do int amount of points, right? Per line, whatever. I'm not going to write the whole thing, but yeah. Okay, amounts of points. Let's say to begin with, let's say 100 should be fine. We can modify this afterwards if we need to do, right? So I is going to be going from 0 up to this value, and then I plus plus. Awesome. So now we need the x value, right? So float x is going to be equal. So it's going to be, let's get the scale, right? So let's do int SCL for the scale. Okay. Well, we can just do it here, right? Well, depends. But it's going to be based on the width and height. Right now I'm just going to say it like this: 800 divided by amount of points. Awesome. Okay, so x is going to be equal to I times SCL, and y we said at the middle of the canvas to start with, so let's do that. So float y is equal to height divided by 2. Okay, awesome. And let's do here a vertex at x, y. Awesome. Let's see if we get our line. Awesome. So now we have a line. Great. What next? Right? We said to use the noise to update the line. Let's first use random, right? Randomness. So let's say, okay, and looking at this, well, let me go back to whiteboard. So I'm going to go and draw over here. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay. So we will have our line, right? So we'll have a line over here. And the line is going to go up and down, right? Depending on the noise value. But we need but the noise value returns us a value between, I'm pretty sure that it's between 0 and 1. So we'll multiply that value by some other size variable, right? Some other size number, right? Because we don't want it to go like half a pixel up and half a pixel down. It would just look like a line, right? So it's not really worth doing that. What we can do is just multiply it, let's say by 200. We can always change that value that we multiplied by. So 200, and we just accentuate more or less the the curve, right? The line, basically, the line moving. So let's choose a value for that. Like I said, maybe 200 is fine. So let's start with that. Let's do int, let's call it size, 200. Okay, awesome. So, and to start with, I just want to show the difference between random and noise. So let's use random to start with, right? So over here, the W here, whoa, W here will be, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'm just thinking right now, but yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Let's get, okay, so the Y is going to change. So plus, and let's say random between size divided by 2 minus size divided by 2 and size divided by 2, right? So let's see what this gives us. It'll be pretty random. Okay, invalid character. Oh yeah, I need to fix this. Let me paste it somewhere else and copy it again. Awesome. Okay, there you go. It fixed it. So yeah, so you see, it's not really. We couldn't call this exactly smooth. It's random for sure, but it's definitely not smooth. So that's what the random function gives us. Now let's use the noise function. So the V is on here, right? The noise parentheses V, that V value that we pass it needs to be some kind of offset for the noise to give us back something, right? Otherwise, if we don't pass it, it's just going to always return us the same value for a given sketch, right? So let's do like float offset equal noise passing V times and size. Awesome. Okay. So let's do int, let's do float, and it needs to change really slowly, right? So from like for a really small amount, it needs to change every time we go through the loop. So let's do float V is equal to 0 to start with. We could start at whatever, but why not just 0? And then V plus equal maybe 0.001. That's going to be really smooth, for example, right? Let's see it. I mean, sure. Maybe that's a bit, oh, wait, no. I just did not finish what I was doing, right? So we need to add to this the offset. Yeah, we just need to add the offset to here, right? So, right, we can see it going, but that's way too smooth. Let's do this, right, by a factor of 10. Okay, we can start to see something. Let's maybe do 5 here. Okay, there you go. So now we have something similar to what we want, right? So we could possibly just, what I'm thinking is that currently it seems to be further down than the actual, like the middle, right? The Y height divided by 2 is way higher than what we're seeing right now. So I have two thoughts. We could either move it back up by, let's say, by maybe 100 in this case, or we could map the noise value that we get back to be going from, because the noise we're going to get is closer to 0.5 than to like 0 or to like 1. So I'm thinking we can map the noise that we get from between minus 0.3 to plus 0.7, right? Something like that. So let's do that and see what if it's a little bit better. So map the noise, which goes from, we said 0 to 1 to maybe minus 0.3 to 0.7, right? Let's try that at least. And we can all, yeah, that's looking more close to the middle of it. It's better. Okay, let me make this maybe a little bit smaller. Okay, maybe it's too little, maybe 0.7. Okay, and we could also adjust the noise detail, right? I don't remember, I never seem to be able to remember. Let's open up the references, awesome. So let's look at noise detail. There you go. Sure, and let's take their example, noise detail over here. It's a bit small, but it's fine. Okay, awesome. So let's put this in here and we can play around with those values. Who's going to stop us, right? Okay, that's way too, maybe try 40 for this one. Okay, I'm just testing out stuff, right? So 0.3 maybe. That's looking better, for sure. Maybe try 50 over here. Okay, and maybe 3.5. Okay, maybe back to 30. Okay, and let me up the amount of points, maybe like 400 points. Okay, let's go back to 0.5, 5, and 30. Okay. Alright, I think we're getting closer to something. That's looking better. Let me do 20 this time. No, I don't like that. Should be way smaller, maybe 6. Okay, I really have no clue what I'm doing with the noise detail. Just trying out stuff. Well, you know what? Never mind. Not good with that noise detail. I mean, let's add it back, but let's see what the base value for these. Hmm. Okay, so let's do 0.3. This one, let's do 10 again. Oh, you know what? There you go, right? Because we're having a lot more points into here. Maybe 0.2, maybe even 0.3. Not much more than that though. Yeah, that's too much already. Okay, I think 0.2 is fine. And then here, okay, I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop going for something I want and just pick one. I'm too indecisive. 25. I don't stop even after saying that. I'm not really stopping. Let's say 45 here. Okay, sure. Let's go with that. All right, cool. All right, so we have our noise value, right? So it's looking fine, I guess. It's great. Let's do a stroke weight just so that we see it a little bit better. Wait, am I changing this while it's being commented out since the beginning? Maybe I was. Who knows? It's too big of a number. Awesome, that's great. Okay, let's do stroke weight. We said just a little bit thicker, maybe two, just so that we see it a little bit better. That's good. Awesome. Okay, so now we want to just do it multiple times, right? So let's do int amount of lines. Let's say 4. Whatever arbitrary number we want, right? So we need the begin shape, we need the end shape, and we need another loop, so 4. And we could technically just use like the translate function, right? So this could just be the offset, and we could just translate by, so for int j is equal to 0, j is less than amount, such a long variable name, amount of lines, j plus plus, right? God damn, today I'm not doing great in terms of typing. I mean, I'm never doing great in terms of typing, but that's fine. And I guess we could just translate. Why does that method exist? It's no, it does not. Well, okay, it doesn't matter. We just translate by 0 for the x, and then the y we could just do okay. We can just do, let me think about it. We need j times the height divided by this, right? Is that correct? Plus 1. Hmm. And maybe I want to start it off at, I don't know. Let me just see here if I see. I just want to see. Okay. Well, let me do something a bit special. So before I add any lines, right? Any more lines than what we already have, right? Translate height divided by 2. Okay, great. So before we do any more lines, what I want to do is, let me see here. Okay, great. Let me get back the image we had. Okay, awesome. So we can see here, right? If I zoom in, we can see that all of the lines start from like the same kind of point, right? They're not having any randomness at the beginning, right? So what I did there is that I lerped the noise value from 0% to 100% at the middle, and then from the middle from 100% to 0%. So I think it's going to be good if we do that here, right? So because if I refresh here, right, this line doesn't necessarily start at the middle of the canvas, right? If I were to, let's say, draw a line underneath, like a red line, right? So if I were to draw a line from 0 to width, and this is going to be height divided by 2. Okay, great. Oh, yeah. Right, so we can see it here, right? It doesn't start at the middle, from the middle of the canvas, right? And it doesn't necessarily end from the middle of it as well, right? So that's what I want to correct by using the lerp. So what we can say is that if I is less than amount of point divided by 2, so okay, so sorry. Right, I think I'll do it here. Let's see. If I is less than amount, oh yeah, I need to write this whole thing. I'll just copy it. I is less than amount of points divided by 2. Then let's do lerp, and let's do offset is equal to lerp of offset between 0 and offset. At what percent should it be? It should be at, so this is 100%, right? So I over that, over percent. So I over amount of points divided by 2. I don't want to do the math. It's simple math, but I don't really care. Currently, I just don't want to. So let's do I, which goes from 0 to, let's say this, for example. Well, it would technically be that minus 1 because it's less than, but it's fine. Let's just do that. It's going to be close enough. Which I want to be mapped between 0 and 1, right? Because 1 would be 100%. And then let's do else if, well, let's just do else, right? We don't need an if condition. So otherwise, it's going to be pretty much the same, though I is going to go from amount of point divided by 2 over here to amount of point. And when it's this, it's like that, right? I think. Let me see. What's the issue over here? Invalid character again. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's see. Awesome. So now we can see it start at exactly the middle. Well, that's great. So maybe I want to change this a little bit so that it's maybe this is way more. This is -7 and this is 3, right? Yeah, because well, I mean, we could do it the other way around, but I was thinking of like mountains, so I was thinking the red would be the horizon line, and then you would see the mountains, right? So you already have mountains right now. We could be done. You could just have mountains, but I want to superpose mountains, right? So let's do what I wanted to do. So let's add this back, right? I mean, just adding this back could look good, right? It could look like multiple mountains on top of one another, right? No, never mind. This translates. Oh, you know what? I was wrong earlier. I just need to do height divided by amount of lines, right? Because I'm translating each time, so I don't need to do like. Yeah, that's right. What's the issue? Invalid character. I really need to figure out what's the issue, but it's always there. We go. It's always a space. Awesome. Okay, so let's do a lot more. Maybe like 10. Yeah, I mean that's looking better, right? And in the drawing I did, the I mean there were a lot more lines. But one important thing to know is that I left space on each of the edges. I mean you can do that on your side. I'm not going to do it for this, but it's not too complicated once you get the hang of it, right? So height would be height. My well, that wouldn't really change. I would well, you could. I wouldn't. It doesn't matter. Let's do like 20. It's a lot. Right, so it's starting to look good, like we expect it to look. But that's pretty much the sketch right here. Maybe update the noise detail again, maybe like 8 is a little bit low. Let's do 12 just to see, right? So there's, I don't know, there's more variation or whatever you want to call it. Maybe 0.3 was fine. I don't know. I'm not, I'm not the best at choosing those random values. I mean, I chose them at one point in time, but now I just don't seem to be great at choosing them. But I mean, it looks good, this one. Um, we can maybe do amounts of point. Maybe we want 1 point per 1 point per pixel. Uh, and though this will need to change definitely, maybe this isn't even enough. Or this is too much, maybe 0.5. Okay, so we got some variation, maybe 7. I mean, that's looking not bad, I would say. So yeah, I would invite you to play around with it. Share with me what you do with it. And hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next sketch. Thank you.